be able to write like you. Every word that trips off your lips. Read your mind, can you hear me out? Will you hear me now?
If you were thinking of a place to discover emerging artists, you might think you would have to go to a major city like Chicago or Los Angeles. But this isn't true. Even in a small city like Boise, local musicians are working tirelessly to write, record, and perform their very own music. In a time where rock music has disappeared from the spotlight, you have to go beyond the mainstream and go to the music scene to discover new music. Within the Boise music scene are dozens of bands from multiple genres, including metal, indie, punk, and emo, just to name a few. These bands put their blood, sweat, and tears into their music, hoping that they will be recognized for their talent and their effort. Boise is also home to several venues, such as the Olympic, the Neurolux, Death Proof Coffee, and the Shredder. These venues share an interest in spotlighting local music by giving local bands a place to play, putting together local shows, and allowing them to open up for larger bands. Bands rely heavily on getting attention for their music and shows. This is where someone like Randy comes into the picture. Randy Perkins is a DJ who works for 100.3DX, Boise's largest rock station. While the studio mostly plays music for established acts, Randy hosts a weekly radio show that spotlights and promotes local music and their shows. I was able to conduct an interview with Randy to talk to him about local music and why he does what he does. All right, man. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Definitely.
I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah, no, man, anytime I get a chance to talk about local music, I'm doing it.
So I wanted to ask you, at a radio station that mostly focuses on established acts and bigger bands, why do you choose to use your platform to give exposure to local music?
So local music's important to me. The reason I focus on local music in particular, obviously I focus on all music, but local music's important. It's the backbone of the community in my mind. And like I say and tell people a lot, local music, everybody was a local band at some point, right? They started somewhere, and it's important for me in this community, in Boise, in the Treasure Valley, and even the surrounding areas, because I grew up in this area, and I really want to give the bands a voice and a platform to get their music out there, to talk about the shows they're playing, all the things that they do, just because there's a lot of talent that people may not otherwise know about. This is another way to get that exposure out there. Radio has always been an important piece of music and bringing music out to the forefront and debuting things for the first time. And I mean, back in the day, that was the only way you could get music was through the radio. And so I still look at it that way. And that's, I just really want to be able to put bands out there, give them exposure. And, like I said, they deserve it. They work hard. And there's a lot of talent out there in the communities. And I think everybody should be doing something similar, so that's why.
It may appear impossible that a band from Boise could ever get discovered, but then one also must remember that Magic Sword, a Boise local, gained national recognition when their song was featured in the Thor soundtrack, and We Were Giants, a Boise metal band, was signed to a major label. And while it's true that Boise will never be Los Angeles, and local musicians have to work incredibly hard to get discovered, as was previously stated, every band that ever made it big started out as a local band, and great music can come from anywhere.